You saw it, you felt it. Maybe it was the way they spoke to someone they thought didn't matter. Maybe it was a small lie they told casually, like truth was never important to them. Maybe it was the way they disappeared exactly when you needed them most. You saw who they were in that moment, and then you chose not to believe it. You told yourself it was a bad day. You told yourself they were stressed. You told yourself that the person you believed them to be was the real version, and this was just a temporary glitch. But here is the truth that psychology has confirmed over and over again. When someone shows you who they really are, that is not a glitch, that is the data. And the most painful chapter in anyone's life is not being hurt by someone. It is remembering the exact moment they showed you the truth and choosing to look away. This video is going to change the way you see people forever, not to make you cold, not to make you closed, but to make you wise enough to finally believe what you see. #1. The first reveal is always the truest. There is a psychological phenomenon called the mask slip. Every person you meet is managing an impression of themselves. They are showing you the version they want you to see: thoughtful, patient, caring, consistent. And for a while, that version is easy to maintain. But life is not always comfortable. Pressure arrives, inconvenience arrives, moments where being their true self is easier than performing their best self. And in those moments, something slips. A harsh word, a broken promise, a moment of cruelty they didn't think you'd remember. That is the mask slipping. And the first time it happens, it is always the most honest thing they have ever shown you, because it required no effort. It required no planning. It simply came out naturally. Naturally is the key word. What comes out naturally is what lives inside permanently. Most people see the mask slip and immediately help the person put it back on. They forgive quickly, explain it away, and return to the comfortable version they prefer. But wisdom asks a different question. Not why did that happen, but what does the fact that it happened tell me about what lives inside this person when no one is watching? #2. You cannot love someone into being who they are not. This is one of the most painful truths about human nature. When we care about someone, we see their potential. We see the person they could be if they healed, if they tried, if they chose differently. And that vision is beautiful, but it is dangerous when we confuse potential with reality, because you cannot be in a relationship with someone's potential. You can only be in a relationship with who they actually are right now. When someone is inconsistent, you cannot love them into consistency. When someone is dishonest, you cannot trust them into honesty. When someone is emotionally unavailable, you cannot need them into becoming present. Love is powerful, but it cannot rewrite someone's character. Only they can do that, and they will only do that when they want to. When someone shows you a pattern, not a moment but a pattern, they are telling you something important. They are telling you, this is who I am choosing to be right now. And you have to decide whether who they are choosing to be right now is someone you can genuinely accept or someone you are hoping will eventually disappear. #3. Why we refuse to believe what we see. If believing what we see is so important, why is it so hard? Psychology gives us a clear answer. It is because believing what we see requires us to grieve what we hoped for. When you finally accept that someone is not who you needed them to be, you do not just lose them. You lose the future you imagined with them, the conversations you planned, the life you envisioned, the feeling of being finally understood by exactly the right person. Accepting the truth means mourning all of that, and grief is painful. So instead of grieving, we negotiate. We tell ourselves maybe next time. We tell ourselves they are capable of better. We collect the good moments and use them as evidence against the bad ones. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance, the mind's way of protecting itself from a truth it is not yet ready to accept. But here is what that protection costs you. Every moment you spend explaining away what you already know, you are spending time that belongs to your healing on someone who has already shown you they are not invested in it. #4. Patterns are louder than apologies. One of the most important distinctions you will ever learn is the difference between a mistake and a pattern. A mistake is isolated. It carries genuine surprise, genuine remorse, and genuine effort not to repeat itself. A pattern is a series of the same choice made repeatedly in different situations. When someone apologizes for the same behavior more than twice, the apology is no longer information. It is a ritual. It is what they say to reset the situation without changing the behavior. And your heart, trained to respond to words, accepts the apology, while your body, trained to respond to experience, grows slowly more guarded each time. Believe the pattern, not because you are unforgiving, but because the pattern is the most honest communication someone can offer you. It tells you what they prioritize when no one is watching. It tells you what they are willing to change and what they have quietly decided is acceptable. The person who apologizes beautifully but changes. Nothing has already told you everything. They have told you the relationship is more important to them than the discomfort of becoming better inside it. #5. Believing them is not giving up, it is growing up. There is a version of strength that looks like staying, that endures, that forgives endlessly, that gives one more chance because that is what loyal people do. And there is a deeper version of strength that most people never develop, the strength to believe what you see without needing it to be different, without needing someone to finally understand the damage they caused, without needing an apology that changes the facts. Believing what someone shows you is not pessimism, it is not hardness, it is not closing your heart. It is the most loving thing you can do for yourself. Because when you believe what you see, you stop carrying the weight of a story that was never going to end the way you deserved. You stop rehearsing the conversation that was never going to bring you closure. You stop waiting for a person to become who they were never planning to be. And you give yourself something rare and precious, permission to move forward based on reality instead of hope. #6. The people who deserve you will never make you question it. Here is what believing people, when they show you who they are, eventually leads you to: clarity about what is real. Because once you stop tolerating what does not serve you, something shifts. You begin to notice a completely different kind of person. Someone whose actions do not require interpretation. Someone whose consistency does not require you to track it anxiously. Someone who does not slip because they are not wearing a mask in the first place. What they show you in private matches what they show you in public. What they say in easy moments matches what they do in hard ones. You do not have to convince yourself this person cares. You simply feel it, without confusion, without negotiation, without that quiet voice in the back of your mind whispering that something does not add up. That is what you deserve. Not perfection, but honesty. Not someone who never makes mistakes, but someone whose response to their mistakes is to actually change. Not someone who shows you their best self occasionally, but someone whose natural self is good to you most of the time. Stop working so hard to believe in people who keep showing you reasons to doubt. Start saving that energy for the ones who make belief feel effortless. If this spoke to something you have been carrying quietly, type "I believe what I see" in the comments. Like this video if you are ready to stop explaining away what you already know. Subscribe to Psych still for more honest truths about the mind, love, and the strength it takes to see clearly. And share this with someone who needs permission to finally believe what they have been shown.